Hello everyone, my name is Whitewatch. Welcome to another video, and in this video I'm going to be trying to give you an insight into why patience can be one of your strongest tools in Siege. Now, I've talked before about trying to keep calm and how that's going to benefit you. You'll hopefully stop losing as much if you have been on a losing streak because of your mentality. This one is similar in its application, but different in its context. So this is less about your emotions in terms of just getting tilted and struggling with losses and things like that, or bad performance. This is more down to the fact that sometimes in Siege, you're going to be sitting somewhere with not a lot to do for a reasonable amount of time. And the solution to this for a lot of people seems to be to go and do something. But you leave your post, you go to somewhere else. It either proves to be successful and you feel good because you got engaged, it proves to be unsuccessful because either no one was there or you got killed on your way there, or the scenario that happens to people a lot more than I think they'd like to admit, and that's when you walk away from the place you're defending, you go away somewhere else to try and find something only to find nothing, and then on your way to returning to your spot, you realise that someone has crossed the point that you were holding and has caught you totally out of position and has killed you. Now, I don't know if I've got any clips that show this exactly, but I know that recently something did happen that was the picturesque example of me being completely impatient and playing against the benefits of the character that I picked. So I'd picked Smoke and I'd use a shotgun setup because my plan was, being on Outback, to defend Laundry, and to defend that Laundry spot I'd put a deployable shield next to the big blue cabinet thing at the top of the laundry stairs, and I then decided to sit behind that, and I was basically going to have a double angle, being able to defend people who came in from dorms on the dorms window, and to defend people who came up from the stairs, and to an extent people who came from 90, but there were other people covering that angle. I got fed up because I think a minute had passed and nothing was happening. And so I assumed, because I'd heard nothing, because I'd seen nothing, that there was no one coming. Now, one thing you always want to try and do in Siege is, if you're performing an action that's different to what you're currently doing, you want to try your absolute best to make sure it's based on credible intelligence. So rather than making a random run out, you want to try and make sure that that random run out is not covered, or doesn't have a claymore, or that there's actually someone there, so there's some point to it, stuff like that. If you're rotating, you want to have a reason to rotate, and preferably you want to know where someone is when you're doing that, so that you're actually moving with purpose. You've only got 3 minutes in a round, and obviously as an attacker you're trying to make the most of that by doing all your stuff in a timely manner, because you're the one who the pressure of time is on more so than the defenders, who are trying to waste time. So obviously time does matter to them, but in a totally different way. There's a completely different dynamic between the two sides. But when you get impatient, you mess with that flow, because you move out of position. You allow people to go into the place that your teammates would rightly think that you were going to cover. Or if you're a roamer, for example, and you know something's going on, or you know people are in a certain area, but they've also just droned you out, be patient or be smart, because there's a few options in that situation, and the one that gets people killed is the one where you've been droned out and you choose to then push the area that is being held by the person who's droned you out and potentially their teammates. When you're doing this is a double no-no, because one, you're being impatient, you're trying to spring on something that's not the ideal situation, and I know that sometimes you can't always afford to be patient, but you should try your best when you can be. And two, you're not acting on intelligence, apart from the fact that you know that someone is up there, you don't know how many, you don't know what angles they're holding, and you're just sprinting in, basically lining yourself up to be killed. There's a vast majority chance that you're going to be killed in that scenario. So all these things matter, and the same with attackers. Far too often will I see teammates who get one kill near a site, and they just decide, right, time to go in, let's go for it. And they don't take that extra second to go, maybe he's got a teammate near him, maybe there's folk who are ready to rotate very quickly into an area, And because of that lack of patience, they get punished. And a lot of the time, they get punished hard, because there is no punishment worse than death in this game, as we know, apart from, getting a message calling you hard stuck silver or something like that, which is heartbreaking for those who receive it, and I send my condolences to you. But most importantly, about your patience, you want to understand when it's the right time to be patient and when it's the wrong time to be patient. Because I know I can sit here and tell you all sage-like that you've got to be wise and you've got to be prepared, but you can be wise and prepared for the entire round and find that you've done nothing of any use to anyone other than the enemy team. Everybody knows the classic example of, I'm going to hold this angle because I'm sure this guy's going to come back. And then the moment you stop holding it, he dives out like Max Payne, bullet timing you through the wall, pistols only, akimbo, and you just got no chance. Your life's over. And this middle-aged man whose kids and wife have been killed has once again claimed his vengeance on you for whatever reason. It's sad, and it does happen. Sometimes avoidable. Always use your utility. You never know, you might be able to throw a flashbang or something, because, that's what makes the game fun these days, is clusters of flashbangs and destroying gadgets. But past that, we'll ignore that part of it. The main thing is to just be patient and use intelligence. And I'm not just talking about intel that your team gives you. I'm talking about your own intelligence. You can weigh up the pros and cons of making a move at a certain time. Some of it takes experience. Some of it takes dying in those efforts to then realise that maybe you shouldn't do that in the future. But sometimes impatience can be a helpful tool. It all really depends. But the only way you're going to find out for sure is if you try and if you keep playing. And I know that's maybe not exactly what you wanted to hear, because a lot of the time Siege tips can be very binary. It's a lot of do this or don't do this, but really when it comes down to this particular bit of game sense, you just have to go by what you know. And that could be what you know in the background, it could be what you know about the situation you're approaching. Whatever it is, add it all up, weigh it up in your own head, and then take the outcome, whether it's good or bad, remember it, and then recall it the next time that you're in that situation again. And slowly but surely, you'll then start to get a map in your mind of what you can get away with and what you can't get away with. I could give you plenty of examples, but these all differ between the ranks as well, because particularly in lower ranks, I find people have less patience. You tend to find that they'll push much sooner. They'll make reckless pushes as defenders as well as attackers, and they'll also act on very little information because they just want to be engaged. They want to be in a fight. Conversely, you can have the exact opposite in lower ranks. It's a weird thing to get into. You'll have a bigger mix of hyper-aggressive players and hyper-passive players. So these are the kind of guys who just do not want to engage. They'll leave it till the last second when anything they do is going to be largely, if not completely, ineffectual, because they don't have enough time to really influence the outcome of the round at that point. So there's lots of factors that add up and mess around with the particular formulas, but at the end of the day, it's all about experience, it's all about fun, and it's just about recognising the little habits that you may have that may be causing you problems. I know they've caused me problems, and so I think it's worth just highlighting it to people, so just in case that is something that is going wrong with your game, or could be improved, you clock that and you go, right, I'll not do that next time. So hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. I'm going to try and do more videos like this, because I quite like having a more of a conversational, here's a thing to avoid, rather than just constantly doing operator guides. But you never know. It'd be nice if I constantly did videos instead of making videos that then had a reason to make a new video that doesn't get followed up. But that's what happens when you have greedy scumbag. Anyway, have a good time, guys. Do svidania. Hope the lockdown is going well for you. Bye-bye. Hi guys, thanks for sticking around if you have, and if you haven't, thanks for watching anyway, and you're probably never going to hear this. This is for the people who saw the last video that I posted. It wasn't an easy video to make, as I said. I never really expected my hardware to fail on me like that, but seeing the messages of support from you guys and hearing the encouragement that you obviously want to send my way when it comes to continuing it's been a big boost, to be honest. There was quite a while where I was sitting thinking that it was maybe time to just let YouTube die a bit, and it was a thought that it was difficult for me to come to that kind of conclusion, because I'd put a lot of effort in and I know you guys appreciated what I do. But I just decided that actually there's a lot more to it than my own inconvenience, and that I've had setbacks in many, many things throughout my life. And yeah, it's not ideal to have my kit break on me, but I knew there would be a way around, and surely enough, I managed to find one. It will take time in terms of finding the gameplay, things like that. There was offers to send gameplay in, and honestly, I would not be opposed to it at all at this point. So if you do have any gameplay that you want to send in to me, even if you want me to watch something that you've played out and want me to critique it, even if you just roughly cut it together of a reasonable quality and stick it on YouTube or stick it in a file and send it to me, I'd be more than happy to look at it, and I can make a video of that, or I can just take the gameplay out and use it as background stuff. You're more than welcome to send it, and if you don't want to send it, not a problem either way. But if you do, my email for this channel is prdblackwatch@gmail.com, so please feel free to send it that way. I really hope that this is finally going to be the day that I consistently start uploading and stop messing around. I've got all these advantages in my way because of what I've chosen to dive in with, but I don't want to make any promises because I don't want to let anyone down. Hopefully, this will be it. Looking forward to the next season, guys. Looking forward to making more videos for you, and thank you, as always, for sticking around, because it really means so much more than I think you could possibly comprehend. Have a good night, lads, or evening, whatever time of day it is. Enjoy it. Do svidania. Bye-bye.